Hello, everyone. It's yours truly, Dr. D Inspire. How are you doing? I know yesterday we talked about the fact that we can have a greater idea about what 2022 will look like. And one of the things I said I was going to do today is talk to you about setting drastic actions. Now, look, we are already December 22nd. Only days away from January 1. And my question is, after you've watched the news, after you've watched everything that's going on, how are you going to show up in 2022 differently? Now, we know that we are always thinking positive about everything that's going on, and I will leave all of the medical concerns about the COVID-19 pandemic and everything that's going on with the experts. But when it comes to your motivation, when it comes to career changes, when it comes to upgrading your earning power, you have to be clear about what you hope to do in 2022. Look, you're going to have another 12 months. So I would just ask you to take a moment and think about number one, what worked well for you this past year? What did you do well? Number two, what did not work so well? And number three, what were the areas, if you could go back, that you really wanted to see change? Now, a lot of times, if we feel burnt out or tired, or we feel like we have failed, we just throw everything out the window and we say, I don't want to do anything else because the prior things didn't work. So how do I know that if I make projections that these ideas are going to happen? Well, one of the ways you can circumnavigate that negative self-talk is to really start thinking about the why. What was the reason you started to do your business? What was the reason you started to do that program or you began to learn? See, when you get back to your why, you get back to your focus. And that's when you look at yourself and you go, you know what? It's okay if everything didn't turn out well. Do you remember when you were a child and you were learning how to ride a bike for the very first time? Do you remember how afraid you felt, how nervous you felt, how scared you felt as your friends said, hey, get on the bike and try out the wheels? Well, you usually don't start riding a bike without first having some training wheels. And just because you weren't able to perform in a high capacity in one given area, it could just be a matter of you spending more time or more training and more development to build in that area. You know, one of the things that I notice with my clients and with people who start new businesses is that, of course, we all want to grow. We always want a yes, and we always want to see the rainbow on the other side. But what happens when you don't see that rainbow? What actually happens when there's what we call a dip, or there's a moment where you feel like you're in muddy water and you can't see clearly? Well, there's nothing wrong with just learning how to work on that persistence. And part of that is also deciding that you're going to be in process. A lot of times when I talk to individuals, they may have the wherewithal to reach a new goal. They may even have that first level of excitement. But truth be told, every successful entrepreneur knows that that excitement wanes. And sometimes you have an up day, sometimes you have a down day, sometimes you feel like you're going in circles. But really, what you want to think about is, back to that training wheel example, it takes those training wheels for you to realize when you're on that bike that you're going to hit certain bumps and certain cracks. And those training wheels help you to kind of stay sturdy, even in unsturdy moments. So in the same way, when you decide to show up in your given dream or goal and you press through anyways, something happens with the ability for you to simply endure. So sometimes it's not that you're doing the wrong thing. Sometimes it's just that you have to release those feelings of anxiety and go and just take it one step at a time. The other piece is realizing that in life, just like in the seasons, you're going to have highs and you are going to have lows. Now, one of the poems I often read is one of the poems that really catapulted my own personal growth, and it's called Chronicles, and it's from my book, Chronicles of a Poet. And it's the very first poem that I wrote because it really was a reminder to me that I did not have to have everything perfect. I just had to be willing to start. And so it says, hidden gems of my truth 15 years of silence, 15 years of writing. I mean, goodness, that many years of writing and 15 years of just holding all those wonderful thoughts in journals. That's what I did. I hid my thoughts and my inspirations and I put them in a journal and left it there in my luggage for over 15 years. It says, my Dracula, I was overwhelmed. I was astonished. I felt hidden, a familiar place to be, holding the vase of resentment, depression for the blooms, colloquium, dialogue, and no transparency. I was staring into my well, missing the dreamer, missing my moment, missing ideology. 5,475 days of regret. And you can read the rest of that poem, but really what it reminds me of is that moment of just sitting there and calculating all of the time I spent worried, all the energy I spent not doing anything to progress towards my goals. And also realizing, you know what, I do have an opportunity. I can either keep using this energy to stay in doubt, or I can use this energy and press forward. So one of the biggest ways you can move past stagnation is to take drastic action, which means even if you don't feel like doing anything on a particular day, but you know there's one action you can take to get you closer to your goal, go for it. And you'll never be disappointed when you do that over and over again, because I believe when you step out and you begin to work in what I call your genius, things happen that just surprise you. So I want to just remind you in your own time today, make sure to jot down, what are some of the things that you really do want to see happen in 2022? And make sure you click on this link below, which will show you all of the upcoming events we have. Look, in January, we are doing something amazing for boss ladies, and I want to see you there. Click on the link below and let's get you all signed up. Take care.